Good day to you. This is Terry Armstrong from Academic Advising at Truckee Meadows Community College, and this is just a review of how we could effectively transfer plan to California state universities. Here is a little AI-generated advertisement. Your future starts here. Transfer to CSU from TMCC, blah, blah, blah. We would definitely want to look at how we would promote this both to international students as well as to our local student populations. Here is the kind of the chart that shows all of the California state universities. So there are quite a few of them, starting top of the page with Cal Poly Humboldt and going all the way down to San Diego State. Interestingly, the first university that is now a California State University was San Jose State University, although it was not in San Jose. In 1857, it opened in San Francisco. And think of 1849, 1857. What might they have a shortage of in California in 1857, and that would be elementary school teachers. And so the first CSU and then all of the subsequent CSUs opened as essentially California teachers colleges, and they're still known today to be the place to go if you want to teach in elementary or secondary education, interestingly enough, in California. The agenda today, CSU transfer admissions requirements. Number one, we're going to review the CalGETC, which is the California General Ed Transfer Curriculum, and then assist.org, which is more of how to identify equivalent major courses at TMCC. Then there's a page on important notes, the ideal CSU transfer plan. We're going to review one of the actual plans that I have developed for a young woman who's interested in studying social work at Chico State. And then we will also take a look at kind of a blank template to review that, and then maybe how to build a new plan using some of the tools like assist.org, etc. So hopefully this will be valuable. CSU transfer admissions requirements. First of all, students need to complete 60 semester units. You cannot transfer as is normal in other states with 24 units and a 2.0 GPA. That doesn't happen. You basically have to have 60 semester units. Although they will accept up to 70 units for those high unit majors like engineering or computer science in California. Must have a minimum of a 2.0. From out of state, we'll probably want a more competitive GPA, minimum 2.5. And depending on the major, it could be more. Here is a very unique feature. Must complete the Golden 4. In our case, it's going to be the Golden 5 because our English 102 does not meet a lot of the requirements for the critical thinking and composition, which is the second level English in California. I've talked to a lot of the CSU reps, and they've all said, yes, it would be a really good idea to take your critical thinking and reasoning course, Philosophy 102, along with English 102, because we'll probably select Philosophy 102 as the meeting the required course. But of course, we want English 102 because we want credit for students getting degrees from TMCC, and all of the templates and plans that you'll see in the future have all been built to maximize the number of degrees that we issue for students who are transferring to either UC or CSU. This is the California General Ed Transfer Curriculum. I think I'm going to come back to this. No, I'll go to it right now. Let's take a look at it. This is it. It has some of these same rules on here. I think one of the key caveats is TMCC courses detailed in this document are highly likely to transfer to UC and CSU for general ed credit. However, final approval of all coursework rests with the transfer institution. So we just need to keep that in mind. That being said, I was very conservative in choosing classes that I felt would have a very high degree of likelihood of being accepted. So here are the different areas. Area 1, English. And then there's 1A, English composition. Of course, you recognize those English classes. English 1B, English 102 or 114, and Philosophy 102, the fifth of the Golden Five. Oral communication, COM 101, public speaking, more aligns with the course requirements in California. While maybe some institutions would take the 113, others may not. So to be safe, 101. In math, transferable math class is what is needed, and these would be the courses. Interestingly, in California, stat and college algebra are at the same level. There's not a prereq of college algebra for stats, nor does there need to be, interesting, in my opinion. Arts and Humanities, Area 3, you take 2 courses, 6 units, 1 course from the arts, 1 course from the humanities area. And I've, again, identified courses. So you'll see that these are all like history of or appreciation of the different art forms. Those, again, have a better chance of being accepted in the general ed categories in California. Same with humanities. Have some of the kind of the core general humanities, like core humanities, world histories, world lit, intro to humanities, art of film, and the number of the philosophy courses would work as well. Social behavioral sciences, same thing. I've identified a list of the social sciences that have a high degree of likelihoods of being accepted, and you need 2 courses from the area 4. They have to be in 2 different disciplines. In other words, you can't take 2 econ classes or you can't take 2 history classes. It has to be one of one and one of another subject area. The sciences, a bit different. So this is one of the key differences. In California, you have Area 5A, physical sciences. You have to do a course from physical sciences. And then 5B, you have to do a course from biological sciences. So I've separated some of our sciences out that would have a fighting chance of meeting the requirement. Ethnic studies, fairly recent requirement to California, and not a lot of schools have developed a lot of different options, but I did just kind of look at our curriculum and diversity and found that the Anthro 205 or Soc 205 probably gives the students the best chance to meet the ethnic studies requirement at the university. Time will tell as we hear back from students if some of these courses weren't accepted, but I would imagine that these will be. Again, another disclaimer down at the bottom as well. We'll move on to the next slide. Then you have assist.org, and we're going to go to this probably later, but this is defined lower division major requirements. And what it is, it's the course articulation software between California community colleges and UC and CSU, and now some private universities like USF's on there, who we have a nice articulation agreement with, and St. Mary's College, which they're still working on for us. And so you would go to assist.org to find kind of the best guess TMCC transfer major equivalents. And what you would do in it, you would choose a California community college, maybe something that's pretty close to the university. Like if it's Berkeley, you'd choose my old school, Diablo Valley College. If it was UCLA, you'd choose Santa Monica College. And generally they would have more of their major requirements articulated with those big community colleges with some of the universities. And then what we would do is look at those transfer major course equivalents and then look at our equivalents, like psychology, for example, as a good example. With psychology, at most CSUs, the major requirements are like Psych 101, stats, research methods. That's about it. And so we would need more electives, right, to fill out the 60 units. And so what we would do is identify our major courses as those extra elective courses so they get our psych degree with foreign language waiver to fill out the unit requirements and then our degree requirements. that would be the plan. Oh, okay. Some more important notes. Students cannot repeat classes with C's or better. So D's and F's, yes. C's, no. All major courses that are also included in the GE can double count. So the fact that here some do count, some don't double count, just kind of makes advising a little bit harder sometimes from my perspective. But in California, the major courses, when they are part of the GE areas, can double count. The UCs and CSUs, again, accept up to 70 units. With the California State University system, students don't need all of the lower division major requirements as listed in assist.org. They're a little more flexible with that. So in some of those cases, we would just, do what we can and then make sure our students get degrees from TMCC. There are a couple of exceptions where popular universities, San Luis Obispo and Long Beach, they have outside of assist.org specialized selection criteria that there are specific courses that must be taken, whether at TMCC or somewhere else, or there would not be admissible to those highly competitive schools. The University of California generally specifies which lower division major classes are absolutely required for admissions in assist. And then when we're doing the planning worksheets, we identified university lower division majors, and as much as possible included which TMCC degrees on the templates on those worksheets. So you will see, I'll show you in a minute, and you'll see the CSU major and then the TMCC major up at the top. The ideal transfer plan includes TMCC students earning AAs with foreign language waivers or the AS degrees or specific degrees in certain majors. Again, CalGETC, C's or better. And the ideal transfer plan fulfills as many lower division major requirements at the choice university as possible, and we just need to use our judgment or the existing templates for ideas. Tools to create the plan are in the Google Drive under TMCC Transfer Partnerships, then links and resources. We're not going to get into that because I'm running into a time limit on this video, but transfer planning with TMCC courses to CalGETC, that's the PDF that I was showing you. And then there's a UC CSU Transfer Resources document for important links like applications and so forth. Let's review this is a real CSU plan that I developed. I did wipe out the name. But you'll see on this template it has all of these subject areas for CalGETC. I've incorporated what the student has already taken, and then we developed a plan to finish off the rest of the courses through spring 27. So she'll be transferring in fall 27 to Chico. That's the plan. So that gives you just a brief view of some of the templates that are already in that transfer Google Drive. So you'll be able to open up and look at all of these different transfer templates, and this is kind of what they look like. And oftentimes I'll have that philosophy down on the bottom. Then let's go to San Francisco. This is a blank one that we don't have any semesters in, but something that, like international students, we might, since we have a lot of hospitality and tourisms, this might be something that we use quite often with international students. And again, we're looking at course requirements for CalGETC. And then when the course is in bold here, or the upside down V, means that course also is required for the major at, like in this case, San Francisco State. These are the other classes they would take to San Francisco State through Spanish 2. Here's the Philosophy 102. So that is a quick 15-minute rundown if you guys were unable to make the training on Thursday. So anyway, thank you for listening, and there'll be more available and ask questions anytime you need to. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.